Geography, places, and exploration. 1714 saw the birth of which royal house in Britain when George I succeeded to the crown? House of Hanover. 2 buildings of which museums named for a Roman hill were opened to the public as continental Europe's first public museum? Capitoline Museums. Which German city became proverbial for fine china, which was actually manufactured from 1710 at nearby Meissen? Meissen. Edwin Stanton and Rutherford B. Hayes graduated from Kenyon College, which is the oldest private college in which U.S. state? Ohio. Named for a British explorer, which body of water is alphabetically first among the seas surrounding Antarctica? Amundsen Sea. The sands of which giant desert stretch across 360,000 square miles of southern Africa? Kalahari Desert. Which provincial islands of Ecuador straddle the equator and include Santa Cruz and San Cristobal? Galapagos Islands. What massive reef in the Coral Sea was formed on land that was once part of the Australian continent? Great Barrier Reef. In which southern city did T.I. found the first trap music museum, featuring 2 Chainz pink Chevy? Atlanta. Which university is located in Corvallis, nestled in the heart of Oregon's Willamette Valley? Oregon State University. Pop culture, music, and television. Which rapper's debut album, Illmatic, famously depicted Long Island City's Queensbridge houses? Nas. Whose Lego documentary, Piece by Piece, highlights the rap talent that grew up in Virginia Beach? Pharrell Williams. Which performance troupe with shows in Orlando and Las Vegas promises you will never experience the same show twice? Blue Man Group. Torchwood is an anagram of, and a spin-off from, which long-running BBC sci-fi show? Doctor Who. Zapp's Roger Troutman serenades Los Angeles, Compton, and Watts in the chorus of which classic Tupac and Dr. Dre collaboration? California Love. In the Doors' classic song L.A. Woman, Jim Morrison repeats the name Mr. Mojo Rison, which is an anagram of what? Jim Morrison. Which annual event celebrated its 40th edition in 2026, having originally featured Jimmy Dale Gilmore and Jimmy Carl Black at its first iteration? South by Southwest. South by Southwest. Literature and language. What 6-letter legal term describes a legacy or property as bestowed specifically in a will? Bequest. In which memoir does Ernest Hemingway recall ordering pre-lunch whiskeys and Perrier to kick off a road trip with F. Scott Fitzgerald? A Movable Feast. James Bond orders a Negroni at the start of Risico, a short story written by which author? Ian Fleming. In which movie or book does Robert Langdon untangle the anagram, "Oh, lame saint," into the Mona Lisa? The Da Vinci Code. According to Douglas Adams' 1978 sci-fi work, ingredients like Folian marsh gas and Arcturon megagin make up what fictional alcoholic drink? Pangalactic Gargle Blaster. Which Kurt Vonnegut novel gets its title from a cocktail waitress who refers to martinis as the Breakfast of Champions? Breakfast of Champions. Which Charles Dickens work ends with Bob Cratchit getting a raise discussed over a bowl of mulled port? A Christmas Carol. Which evil character and master of disguise in A Series of Unfortunate Events used the anagrammatic alias Al Funkut? Count Olaf. Which Jake Gyllenhaal film about boys building rockets is an exact anagram of the memoir it was based on, Rocket Boys? October Sky. Science, animals, and nature. Project SETI looks to the sea instead of the sky to understand the languages of which marine creatures? Whales. Air Jaws is a Shark Week nickname for great white sharks engaging in what spectacular, airborne hunting behavior? Breaching. Identifiable by its distinctive stripes, which fearsome species is colloquially known as the garbage can of the sea? Tiger shark. Many sharks live in the epipelagic zone, which is the part of the ocean with enough light to support which energy transforming process? Photosynthesis. The unique, wide face of the hammerhead shark is scientifically known by what term? Cephalofoil. Which amino acid helps give the swell shark its biofluorescence, despite the myth that it makes humans sleepy after a turkey dinner? Tryptophan. The animated TV pup Bluey is a blue heeler, which is a common name for which official dog breed? Australian cattle dog. History, folklore, and religion. Who was the leader of the mutiny on the Bounty who, as a former first mate, helped settle Pitcairn Island? Fletcher Christian. Patented in 1770, the spinning jenny helped bring about what tumultuous historical shift from an agrarian to a mechanical society? Industrial Revolution. Some scholars believe that the giant beast, Behemoth, spoken of in the biblical book of Job, may have actually been which real-world animal? Hippopotamus. Which collection of biblical sayings delivered by Jesus begins with the line, "Blessed are the meek"? The Beatitudes. War broke out in Europe in 1740 when which Austrian archduchess came to power? Maria Theresa. Which giant beast of U.S. folklore was so large that old-timers claimed you could fit 42 axe handles between his eyes? Babe the Blue Ox. Tech, gadgets, and innovation. Above modern battlefields, first-person view, FPV, drones are sometimes attached to what kind of cables to avoid radio frequency jamming? Fiber optic cables. Which computer company, famous for creating chess-playing systems, built Deep Blue to defeat Garry Kasparov in 1997? IBM. In 2025, Tim Cook and Apple introduced an incredibly thin mobile device measuring just 0.22 inches thick under what specific product name? iPad Pro. In May 2026, which massive Amazon-owned business opened a physical, bookless bookstore? Audible. Which AI personal assistant, designed to clear your emails while you sleep, was formerly known by the development names Claudebot and Moltbot? Claude. Words, shapes, and idioms. Which 8-letter word can describe a street, an architectural crescent, or a specific phase of the moon's shape? Crescent. What twisty word, used to describe a winding road or river, begins with the literal word for a snake? Serpentine. If a leaf is botanically described as sagittariform, it is shaped like what sharp piece of an airborne weapon? Arrowhead. If you take the most direct and quickest route to a destination, you are said to make a line named after what insect? Bee. Derived from the Latin word for hollow, what term describes the inward curving shape used for spoons and satellite dishes? Concave. The Oxford English Dictionary's first citation for which booty-shaking dance style comes from a 1990s New Orleans bounce song? Twerking. Performing arts and ballet. In a 1981 production of Romeo and Juliet at the Met, Margot Fontaine moved audiences in which tragic role while mourning Tybalt? Lady Capulet. In 2026, the Los Angeles Ballet put on which Adolphe Adam work where the title peasant girl loses her mind and dies at the end of Act 1? Giselle. What is the French name for the fundamental 101 ballet move where a dancer bends their knees while keeping their feet flat on the floor? Plie. Princess Aurora pulls off a grand pas de deux with her new husband Prince Desire at the conclusion of which famous Tchaikovsky ballet? The Sleeping Beauty. Sports and universities. All aboard the Boilermaker Special. This locomotive-styled vehicle serves as the official mascot for which U.S. university? Purdue University. In 2026, which Southern California school's women's basketball team toppled South Carolina to win its first-ever NCAA national title? USC, University of Southern California. Engineering and architecture. In 1842, John Herschel invented the cyanotype printing process, which directly led to what standard, deep blue document used in architecture? Blueprint. Many historic churches were appropriately designed in a cruciform layout, which is a 9-letter word meaning shaped like what object? Cross.